Okay, so here we are with one of my latest acquisitions, the Gone in 60 Seconds 2000 Remake 1967 Ford Mustang GT500 Replica at a 1/18 scale, created by Greenlight Collectibles, Hollywood Collectibles in this instance. So yeah, I've just recently acquired it, and I'm not so much a big fan of the movie itself, but I must admit, like a lot of people, the car is quite a spectacular feature in that film, and is just, all in all, it's just one of the best looking Mustangs around. So I've just recently acquired it. I thought I'd just do another review, just to get my thoughts. How close is it to the movie? How accurate? And is it really worth getting? So let's have a review. Okay, so here we are. We got the car in box as it is, and in typical Greenlight fashion, it comes in the clear plastic display situation box where you can see the car itself, which is always good. You see what you're getting. Unlike the previous, like the Mad Max, the XB that I reviewed, which was in the foam casing, cardboard all around box, so you don't get to see much. Some good graphics on this one. You got some pictures from the movie. You know, you got your Gone in 60 Seconds logo. You got details in the back of the car, but it's just mostly everything's referred to as custom, so there's no real accurate details on the specs. But let's see how it compares to the original film, to the 2000 Gone in 60 Seconds film. So here it comes in this typical Greenlight box with the plastic window where you can see everything that's going on. You can see whether or not there's any damage or any blemishes, which is good because if you're not too keen on taking it out, you could always keep it in the box and show it on the shelf and it displays real well. Some decent graphics on the side, sporting the logo, the Gone in 60 Seconds movie title, limited edition, Greenlight Collectibles, and so forth. Have a look at the back, there's photos and specs. On the bottom, you got your typical licensing, you know, Ford licensing and copyright and so forth, made in China, that. And you got a random trivia of the movie used car in 2013 that sold at auction for $1 million. So that's a nice little bit of information there. So, okay, there's, again, bits of trivia here and there, details. On the back, you got details here about the original Gone in 60 Seconds from 1974. You know, the yellow Mustang that was used in that. You know, fair enough. And then you got some details of the 2000 remake. You know, producers and so forth. And this and that. Okay, taking it out of the box, the car comes placed in its standard, you know, clear plastic casing that Greenlight puts a lot of their cars in now. Which is good. It's very solid. It keeps it in place. Doesn't rattle, doesn't move. Holds it solid and tight. So there's no real fear of any kind of damage or any kind of like anything going loose where it'll just fall and collapse if it gets mishandled. Looking at the car up close, she rolls very well, very nice and loose. Nothing, you know, nothing rattling, nothing broken, nothing like that. It's all nice and tight, but it's also got very nice and flexibility to it. The steering wheel works very well. The tires move. It's all good there. Again, everything, like you look at the back, it's got a bit of extra details. You got, you know, number plates. You press up. There's no suspension, oddly enough, in this particular model. They're not in this car. There's no suspension, which I'm a bit surprised. Some of the others do usually come with suspension. Opening at the back, you've got access to the nitrous oxide bottle, something that features in the film, but you don't get to see the bottle itself. You know, see the ignition of nitrous oxide used, but good inclusion. The interior, you've got a nice little bit of extra part to it where the seats move forward just like they would in the original fastback Mustangs. So to have access to the back seat. So that's good. I was surprised when I opened and I saw that. That was a nice little inclusion. Like I said, the boot opens, bonnet opens, both the side doors. So everything here, there's access to everything. So unlike the XB that I reviewed, where only the doors open, this actually has everything open. Now, there are some fragile bits of plastic here, a bit light, so you might want to be a bit careful how you handle this car because some of the plastics here on the doors and the windshield wipers, they seem a bit fragile, so you might want to be careful. You don't want to break anything with mishandling. Access to the engine's pretty good, and there's some bits of plastic and rubber in there, and we're going to get into a bit of review on that a bit later. The whole thing pretty much is die-cast, with the exception of some plastic bits and pieces here and there. But the mold itself, so that's die-cast, solid, all around there. Always, it doesn't have like any, like some model cars I've seen where they've got the roof is plastic and the rest is die-cast. All around die-cast, always a good thing. Again, but there are plastics on that you've got to be careful about how you handle. They might break, like the door lining on the outside. I picked it up once and it just felt like I popped it out of place. It was so fragile because that's like plastic in that spot. So you've got to be careful not to break anything. Here it is on display in 360 view, and yeah, this car itself, for a movie Mustang, it's one of the best designs I've ever seen. Beautiful. I think it was originally designed by Steve Stanford, for the car, and it was just made by Cinema Vehicle Service. Overall, just so nice to look at. And again, we get some up close. We can see very few blemishes here and there, which I'm a bit surprised, but there are like 1 or 2 minor blemishes on the paint. There is a bit of a blemish on the front grille, which I didn't know whether or not it was in the movie or not. Apparently, there's no image of it in the movie, but there is a mistake in that where the front grille in this particular car, the model car that I've got, has a bit of like this camouflage looking style of design to it. I don't know, maybe the chrome paint didn't dry well, so not sure what happened there. Looking at 360, you got the metallic paint scheme. I'm not sure if it was the right option for this. It was metallic in the movie, so I guess they decided to reflect that. You got the interior, you got the fake wooden steering wheel, but the interior is very nicely designed, very nicely detailed. You got the tachos, the speedos, you got the ignition switch on the stick shift for the go baby go, for the nitrous oxide, that's good. But again, the metallic, I don't know if it was the right option in this car. I mean, from a distance it looks very good, but up close, it really does give it that smaller toy car look to it. You know, it does give it a bit of that fake look to it, let's just put it that way. So, in replace of the Shelby badges and any kind of Mustang badges, you got the Gone in 60 Second badges, you got E at the back. So that's going to lead into how close and accurate it is to the film, because actually some representation of GT500 and Shelby that were present in the film have been taken away, most likely due to licensing issues. So there are certain bits and pieces that are missing on this car that it doesn't make it exactly accurate. It has a nice feel to it, got a nice weight. Underneath you got your licensing. Very well detailed actually underneath as well. I'll have to give it credit here as well, where there's more detail on the bottom. We got good viewing of the engine. It's not just one piece. Everything's like bits and pieces all put in the right place. Everything's tight. You got tail shafts. You got your fuel deposit. It has a nice feel to it, so I'm not worried about anything breaking too easy, other than the thinner pieces of plastic I mentioned before. Now, with the engine, good access to the engine, very well detailed, very nice and colourful, so it stands out. The original GT500s were powered by a 428 cubic inch, 355 horsepower dual carb FE V8 Ford engine. In the movie, I think some cars had like the 428, but I think like the one that got sold in auction was a 351, so I'm not sure like with this one here if it's reflective of the 351 that was sold or not. Might be a 428, but I think that's up for debate. Okay, so I will admit, even though it comes with the full-on details, it comes with the Schmidt 8x17 inch wheels, but it's missing any kind of tire markings, so no brand names there. The details here are more accurate towards the replicas that come after the film and not so much the film itself. Okay, so let's give it a rating now and see how it stacks up. Accuracy, I'll give it a 9 out of 10 for accuracy. As I mentioned, it's fairly accurate to the GT500 replicas that came out afterward, but not 100% to the movie itself. So I'm missing 1 or 2 things. It's missing like the arming mechanism that arms the nitrous oxide before the button's pushed. It's missing any reference to Shelby Cobra. It's missing the GT500 logo. Again, that's minor things, but just so you know, it's not so much movie accurate as it is post-movie replica accurate. So it's more accurate with the replicas that get made post-movie. So not 100% like the movie. So accuracy, I'm just going to give it a 9 out of 10 for that reason. Value, considering it's Greenlight and considering some of these on higher end brand models like higher manufacturers sell for a lot more, this is actually good value for money because it's very well detailed, everything opens, everything's accessible, and it doesn't feel flimsy, it doesn't feel fake, just 1 or 2 plastics that you've got to be careful of. I've got to give value 9 out of 10, only because of the light blemishes that Greenlight always come with, because it is actually quite worth the money, considering in other circumstances you'd pay a lot more for more or less the same product. Quality. In terms of quality, Greenlight's notorious for a bit of blemishes here and there. You know, the cars are made in China, so they're not always going to be the best quality controls. But the quality is pretty good. Only like minor blemish I've got is like one little spot on the paint is a bit blemished, and the front grille. They're the only 2 issues I got. So I'm going to give quality 9 out of 10. Extras. The car itself doesn't come with any extras in particular, so it's not applicable in this particular list. Availability. Even though this car came out in 2014, it's still available, which is pretty good, and at not a bad price. It's still a pretty good price. If you hunt for it, you can find it. You just got to go for it. Now, also in presentation, the car itself, it's just a wonder to look at. It's just so good to look at. Everything about it, just the way the light shines off it, the custom design of the car. It's a GT500 custom, so it's not, you know, it's something, its own thing from the movie, obviously. It looks good, it displays well, rotates well on the turntable. Any angle you look at it looks very good. It's just the metallic paint scheme that puts it a bit off. So overall, I'll give this a 9 out of 10, because it's very close to everything. It's almost got everything down pretty much right. It's just not so much the movie car accurate. Like I said, it's the replica accurate. But either way, I highly recommend this for anybody's collection. If you're into model car collecting or movie model car collecting, I recommend it. If you can go find it, I recommend you get it. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this review, and happy hunting. Cheers.